what a great day. And I am so proud to be with you. And I wanted to kind of give you a little overview of how this program came into being and how we ended up here today. And it's really due to an amazing community. So I'm Laura Fritz. I'm the director of the Department of Economic Development for Salt Lake City. And I had an amazing opportunity to tour Catholic Community Services. And I spent some time with Matt and Callie, and they shared with me the amazing work that they're doing at their program, from touching everybody who walks in to making sure that there's laundry and showers, and most importantly, they were doing job fairs. And I went, well, that's pretty amazing. So if they're touching all these individuals, and over here in economic development, we're meeting with companies and we're hearing from them that they need employees. How can we bridge that gap? So I called Matt up and we had another conversation, and he said, Laura, that's such a great endeavor, but in order to get housing, people have to queue up early in the morning. And so unless they have housing as part of this, there's no way they're going to be successful, because they can't go to school, they can't get a job, because they're worried about where they're going to sleep tonight. And that was really moving for me. And around that same time, my friend Dan Ackerman from Salt Lake Housing Authority of Salt Lake City came in. And I said, Dan, I have this crazy idea. And he said, I love the crazy idea. And he went to his board, and he got 3 housing units donated. 3 housing units that the Housing Authority took offline for 6 months to make sure that we could put people into housing, make sure they were safe, make sure that we could get them through an education program. I then went to my friends at Salt Lake Community College, and Rick, you are amazing, and thank you so much for not telling me no. Rather, you told me, how can we do it? So, I'm sorry, this is just so amazing. Looking at Zach, hey. Thank you, team. And the community college got a scholarship to make sure 12 people could go through a construction training program. That's incredible. And then we went to the private sector, and we said to the private sector, can you at least interview our candidates if they graduate? And they said, yes. Not only will we do that, but we're going to take it one step further. We're going to interview them. We're going to have them do a field trip. They're going to come out and see firsthand what it would be like to be in this career field. Pretty awesome. They also came up with the idea of family dinner. So every Thursday night, somebody from this group that has organized this brought family dinner over to the housing units. And we sat and we talked about the goals and what people wanted to see for their lives. It was incredible. And now here we are. We started with 12 students. I'm proud to say 3 of them have either gone on to a different training program or they've found employment. But 8 people today are going to graduate from this initiative. And I'm sorry, I can't call it graduation, sorry. So in case I miss someone along the way, I just want to make sure I don't miss anyone. So thank you to Salt Lake Community College, to Rick and Bonnie and Chuck and your entire team, and Dr. Hofdelin, thank you. The Housing Authority of Salt Lake City, Dan Ackerman, Palmer DePaulis, Zach, Russ, you guys are amazing. The Department of Workforce Services, represented by Loggins Merrill and Jake Maxwell. You guys are so incredible. And I know we have some of the instructors from the early morning. So for the first 2 hours, everyone had an opportunity to do life skill training. They learned about resumes, goal setting, how to put together a budget. And that's thanks to our partners at Workforce Services. And so if you were an instructor in the early morning classes, can you just raise your hand so we can acknowledge you? Thank you so much. And where this idea started with Catholic Community Services, Max and Callie, not only are you just truly angels to this community, but they hauled washers and dryers and furniture and made sure that people had clothing and food. And so thank you for all that you do. And then, of course, our private sector partners. This wouldn't be possible without you. being here to interview and make sure that there's employment opportunities, not only for our candidates, but also for our community. So thank you to the private sector employers who are here today. And now that I finally pulled myself together, I get to introduce Loggins Merrill from the Department of Workforce Services. Loggins has worked for the Department of Workforce Services for more than 18 years. He has been in various offices and divisions, including auditing and contracts, eligibility services, unemployment, and workforce development divisions. For the last 6 years, he's been working with people experiencing homelessness in order to help connect them to employment and resources to help move out of homelessness into housing. For the past year, Loggins has also managed the Department of Workforce Services Metro SLC Employment Center. Thank you for all the work you do. And with that, Loggins Merrill.
Well, we would like to thank the city for inviting us and being part of this great partnership. It's taken a lot of different community partners to pull together to produce what I feel is a really, really great program. And for the participants and students today, this is a really big day. This is a culmination of a lot of hard work that each of you have done, so you should be really proud of the work that you've done. When you think about all the things that you've learned over the last month, you know, everything from reading a tape, you know, squaring things up, to the things that you've learned from our instructors on the life skills and the work preparation skills, to even things that you've learned as living together as roommates, right? There's all kinds of lessons that we learn every day. I know that, like, for myself, in my experience, I have some construction and framing background that I've done over the many years. And one thing that I've always remembered from my experiences is always measure twice, cut once, right? I have used that lesson so many times in my life, every time, like whether it's a conversation at work or a conversation with my kids at home, when they say something that I'm thinking, like, to my kids, what just came out of your mouth? I'm thinking, okay, Loggins, think through that twice, say something once, right? You know, or even just the value of being prepared in life. It's really been something that I learned from my experience in construction or framing that I've carried across to help make me a better worker, a better family member and father. And so just a small piece of advice. So all the things that you've been learning, that you've been picking up on and growing and developing over this last month, remember those things. Bring those things with you to the workforce. Bring those things with you, with your family, and especially in our communities as you move into whatever community that you're going to be ending up in. We're really proud of you today, and we're excited to hear a few words from one of the participants today who has gone through the program, Kevin Kressel. So we'd like to welcome him and hear a few thoughts from him as well.
Thank you. I'm very honored. I'm grateful, and it's to take this experience with me. Our teacher here, George, you're very stern, and he likes to crack the whip, no doubt about it. And I'm very grateful. I've learned things that I've forgotten, over the years. I've been in the industry, not just carpentry, but I've been in the construction industry for 30 plus years. So I'm very grateful to brush up on my skills. And George, thank you for that. And I wish very much the best of luck for these rest of these cohorts, and hopefully you can take that somewheres and benefit from that and be successful. And it's, again, from the DWS, and very grateful. You guys have given me a great opportunity, and I hope to pursue that and be successful in my journey forward. So, I'm very grateful, and I don't know what else to say about that. And, you know, to come from where I've been, which is homelessness, you know, is where I let myself fall is a good question. Being lethargic and complacent and letting other people, you know, take care of foot the bill, if you will. You know, it's nice to be able to take responsibility again, and I plan to take that and be successful. And I don't know what else to say. I'm very grateful, and I thank all you people for the opportunities that you're giving us, not just me, but all the rest of these guys. Thank you. I appreciate it. And that's all I got.
Kevin is amazing. I had the pleasure of moving him into his apartment the first day, and we've become fast friends, and he's been just truly a role model for the rest of the cohort, so thank you, Kevin. Now I have the distinct pleasure of introducing not only someone that you all will recognize, but also someone who I am proud to call a friend and mentor, and that's Mayor Jackie Biskupski. For more than 25 years ago, Mayor Biskupski came here on a ski trip, and like many people, she chose not to leave, but has made Salt Lake City her home. She fell in love with the proximity of the outdoors, the warmth of the people, and the overall quality of life. And I would say she also fell in love with being able to engage in a community that is so deeply passionate about each other. And what I think is really exciting about Mayor Biskupski is not only her passion for her community, but also that she's an entrepreneur. She comes with a business background, and so she has seen both sides of the challenges that we're trying to address with our program. Mayor Biskupski was elected to a seat in the Utah House of Representatives in 1998. And whether the discussion was on sound stewardship of tax dollars, incentive programs to stimulate employment, improved efficiency by state agencies, or legislation governing low-income housing and services for the homeless, elderly, and people with special needs, Mayor Biskupski was there advocating on our behalf. Mayor Biskupski was elected as Salt Lake City's 35th mayor in 2015 and was sworn in on January 4th, 2016. And with that, let me introduce Mayor Jackie Biskupski.
So I am an entrepreneur and had my own business for a little while, and but that's not the most exciting part. I had a construction project back in the day that I did. And I built a fort, and I am proud to say it lasted over a decade. And but I don't have the skills that you have today, I can tell you that. So I'm very pleased for you and excited for you. And to the graduates we honor today, their proud family and friends, and every partner involved in making this occasion a reality, I want to say thank you. And thank you for joining us today to celebrate this moment. As mayor, I have the privilege to stand in nearly every corner of this city and celebrate the opening or completion of a variety of projects. Whether it is bringing a big scissors or working to tour a completed housing project, I witness vision becoming reality in this city every day. But it is days like today that I truly am moved by the people who come together and say that we all matter, that humanity and human connection is our number one priority. And that is what makes me so proud about today. That innate understanding that we are one, that we are in this together, and that the success of our fellow neighbors is what matters. So today we are here and we can see what has been accomplished through collaboration, innovation, and participation. A day where we recognize those who once felt somewhat faceless, and celebrate you, all of you. Celebrating people such as Stefan Whitmer and Fabian Yazzie, two individuals I met at my State of the City address last week. Both had previously experienced homelessness in our community, but sought out a unique opportunity to get back on their feet. Through city and community partnerships, Stefan and Fabian were given housing, transit, and job training in the construction industry. But most importantly, they were guaranteed an opportunity to interview with an employer. I cannot imagine the courage it took to place faith and hope in something very new. But after talking with them, I do know they feel important, valued, and are excited to have a home and education and transportation. What's clear is that both Stefan and Fabian, as well as the rest of the graduates here today, deserve recognition for their efforts to improve their lives. Undoubtedly, months of rigorous training and learning a new skill set was not easy. But each of you seized your opportunity and excelled to make sure this moment was a reality. Today is your day. Today is a new chapter for you, armed with a new skill set and a toolkit and a certification. I am confident you will rock this, as you already have. All of us here have invested in you because we are confident in your ability to succeed. But as you leave here today, I do have one favor to ask of you, and that is, will you please pass on what you have learned? Lift up others and help whoever you can along the way. Pay it forward, so to speak. Your success and our city's success, we can only be a better community if we continue to help others as we move forward. Please know that Salt Lake City will be rooting for you, and that you are welcome to come by my office any day, especially if you're having a hard day. Thank you again for doing this, and congratulations.
How lucky am I that I get to work with Mayor Biskupski and for her. Let's give her another round of applause. You heard us talk about the housing, and really that was a critical component to our success. And as I mentioned, the Housing Authority of Salt Lake City donated 3 units of housing for 6 months. And you're probably asking, well, Laura, this is only a 1-month program. What happens the rest of the time? Well, the good news is our candidates who are going to receive their completion certificates today continue to be able to live in that housing for the next 5 months. And what we're going to do is once they're employed, we'll start collecting a small amount of rent from them. And that rent will be collected and then given back to them to make a deposit on an apartment or their next housing opportunity. And so special thanks to my team at the Department of Economic Development, Ben Collender, who came up with that great idea to make sure that people had resources to be able to move on from the housing that the Housing Authority has donated. So thank you, Ben, and thank you, Annie, for all your efforts as well. With that, I want to introduce you to Palmer DePaulis. Palmer DePaulis is the chair of the Housing Authority of Salt Lake City. And when I went to Dan went to his board, and the board had a lively conversation about whether or not they should participate in this program with us. And Palmer was a staunch advocate for making this happen. And Palmer has had a long career in both the public and private sector. He has started his career as a teacher at Judge Memorial High School, and then worked as a district's claim manager for Allstate Insurance. He served on the Salt Lake City Council and then became mayor of Salt Lake City from 1985 to 1992. So we are very fortunate to have 2 mayors in the room today. The first homeless shelter in Salt Lake City was sited and developed under his leadership. and subsequently Palmer was the Chief of Staff for the Attorney General Jan Graham, thank you, and then served under 4 governors until he retired in 2013. Although I will say, if anyone knows Palmer, he is not retired. He just finds new passion projects. So please let me introduce to you Palmer DePaulis.
Thank you, Laura, and thank you, Mayor, for your dedication and your commitment to housing and to the workforce, but also for your personal dedication. I think we really can see that, and we appreciate it very much. So thank you for leading this effort. I'm currently serving as chair of the Housing Authority of Salt Lake City, and I just wanted to recognize Dan Ackerman, our executive director, and Zach Pau, who is here and had a lead role in this program. And I also want to thank our board. We did have a lively discussion, but our commitment was there. In order to take, you can understand, taking housing offline for a while for a specific purpose is always something we are cautious about. But this was such a great program. I mean, how could we not do this? And so I want to thank the board for providing this housing as part of this program. We really appreciate how this has come together, and we appreciate the partnership. Nothing gets done in this city, in this valley, without partnership. We have to cobble together our resources and our partners to really achieve something, to provide a program for these graduates that are here today. And I want to thank you for your participation, your commitment, your willingness to step forward and start anew and move forward. And we are behind you 110%. So thank you to our graduates today. I also just want to say one word about collaboration in all of our programs for housing, because as you know, and the mayor has pointed out in the State of the City address just last week, and has been working for 2 years now on housing programs and a plan, a comprehensive plan to move forward to really address the affordable housing situation in our city. And we're seeing great progress. We're building towards that. What's coming next are more and more units that will come online to help not only the affordable part of our housing needs, but also our homeless housing and special needs housing. So we estimate something, what is it, Mayor, over maybe 30,000 units we need overall? Almost 50 in the county. You can just see what the great need is. And we have a mayor who is stepping forward in Salt Lake City with a plan to reduce that, hopefully, to zero. So we're on our way. We have a lot of collaborative work to do moving forward. So I want to thank all of the partners that are here. I also wear a hat. I'm on the board of CCS, so I know Matt very well. And I just want to thank you as well, Matt, for your work in helping with workforce services. So thank you very much. And again, congratulations to the graduates. Our hats go off to you, and we wish you well as you move forward. And we will be there with you. Thank you. One last thing, we have a check, a $10,000 check that came from Morgan Stanley Bank. It's coming through our 501c3 at the Housing Authority. I want to present this to Laura for the program, for the continuation of the program. You have to give it back to cash it.
Wow, this is what community partnerships can do. Not only can we help 8 people from homelessness to housing to job training, but now we're going to be able to help even more. So thank you to the Housing Authority for your kindness in making this happen. Whew. Who else is kind of exhausted from all this? Just me? Okay. Again, we are so lucky to have our partners at Salt Lake Community College who, as I said, when I called Rick and said, I have this crazy idea, he said, I don't think it's crazy. Let's figure it out, and has been making it happen every single day. This idea really was spawned in September of last year, and thanks to Rick and his team, brought together the private sector partners to make sure that we were getting the private sector engaged in this conversation as well. And every week since then, we've been meeting to make sure that this program is moving forward and that we are having graduates that are going to be able to be employed. And so thank you again, Rick. I can't say enough about how wonderful you are. But of course, great leadership starts at the top. And so Dr. Huftelin, I am excited to be a partner with the community college. Dr. Huftelin was named the 8th president of Salt Lake Community College in September of 2014 and feels privileged to have served Salt Lake Community College students, faculty, and staff for more than 2 decades. In her tenure as president, Dr. Huftelin has launched a college-wide strategic planning cycle, which has produced a new vision, mission, values, and strategic goals for the college. Dr. Huftelin is leading efforts to strengthen completion rates, transfer pathways, workforce responsiveness, and equity in student access and completion. And I think today is a great example of all of those tactics. Prior to her role, Dr. Huftelin served as the interim president, vice president of student services, dean of students, director of academic and career advising before joining Salt Lake Community College in 1992. Dr. Huftelin held positions at William Rainey Harper College, Northwestern University, the University of Utah, Stanford University, and the Institute of Shipboard Education. With that, please help me welcome Dr. Huftelin.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for being at Salt Lake Community College. We love to show off our campus and to have folks visit us on this is one of 10 sites that we have across the valley. We continue to grow and prosper, and we more than ever want to be an integral part of programs just like this, where we meet the community where they have needs, and we contribute to those partnerships, and we make successful things happen. So I'm thrilled to have you here at Salt Lake Community College. 4 weeks ago, these students took a courageous step. And one of the things I love about spring semester on a college campus, it's the beginning of several kind of banquets and events where we get to celebrate achievement. You are all kind of starting us on that journey today in what looks to be a series of months of celebrations as students accomplish their goals. In a few moments, we're going to celebrate the first chapter of these students' goals, a journey that I hope will maybe even bring you back to Salt Lake Community College in the future to continue to learn and advance your skills and even earn more certificates or degrees, et cetera, as the need fits. Let me just tell you what these students have done. So they have completed 120 hours of technical training in entry-level construction work, a booming industry we've just heard here along the Wasatch Front, and that industry is deeply in need of skilled workers. In true Salt Lake Community College workforce education fashion, hands-on learning was critical to the success of these students. They quickly learned concepts important to the successful and efficient operation of a job site and applied them to projects including the identification of framing carpentry components, cutting components for walls, floors, and basic roofs, and installing wood siding and trim. Classroom and lab learning was supported by site visits to local industry leaders, including BMC, who joins us today. Our students, as you've heard, applied their newfound skills when they worked as a team to build 2 full-sized sheds as final, tangible examples of all of their skills. The students with us today have earned their certificate from the college. And as I said before, I encourage you all to get into the workforce, start to feel that success, and then to ask yourself what else you need to know and how can we contribute to additional learning. One of my favorite parts of Salt Lake Community College is the diversity of students that we serve. You can be in a classroom with a student that's just out of high school, with a mom that's come back who's 52 and finally got the kids out of the house, or with someone who's coming back to learn a whole new skill at 60 because industry has changed and life has moved forward and they want a new career. It's an exciting place to be at Salt Lake Community College. More than anything, we're proud to be a partner with all of you that you've heard from. It's very, very significant and important that the word community is in our title. We take that word very seriously. So when someone like Laura calls us, or someone like Palmer reaches out, or the Housing Authority or DWS needs a partner in education in Salt Lake County, most importantly, a partner who wants things to be affordable, accessible, relevant, quick, we hope they reach out to Salt Lake Community College, and we're very, very dedicated to that mission. So in just a moment, we're going to award you your certificates. We're going to do this just like a regular graduation ceremony at the Maverick Center. And I'm going to invite our mayor and several of our folks to help join me up here to present you with your certificates. Let me just tell you how proud we are of you and how proud we are that you took this courageous step. Going back to school is tough. I went back to school as an older person. I was so intimidated to be back in school. I thought this is never going to work. And so to take that initial step and then to stick with that 120 hours of training when it's not necessarily comfortable, you're not sure what you're going to do, that's a statement in and of itself of your tenacity and your ability to thrive. So thank you for taking that courageous step. It is my honor now to be joined by Salt Lake City Mayor Jackie Biskupski, Loggins Merrill from DWS, and Rick Bullion from Salt Lake Community College to bring a close of just this chapter of your journey and to present you with your certificate. So we're going to have Mayor join us, and Rick and Loggins will line up here. I will call your name, and if you'll come up, I'll present you with your certificate, and we'll have you shake these folks' hands, and we will make this official. All right. We need pomp and circumstance in the background. Does anybody have a kazoo or something? Okay. Where's the music? Yeah, where's the music? All right, so I don't know what order this is in, so be ready for your name. So Daniel Pitts, please join us. Congratulations. Ethan Rotzos? Fabian Yazi. George Justin. James Ewell. Did I say that right? Jennifer Jackson. Woo! The women are represented. Thanks, Jennifer.
Go, girl. Thank you.
Kevin Kressel, who you've all heard from. And Stefan Whitmer. Congratulations.
How about a big round of applause for these wonderful students? You know, there's a really orientation of family, and our partners, our collaboration, we really appreciate the family that's been created. And before I introduce a family-owned business in industrial supply, the family members and friends of these graduates, will you please stand that are here to support? Thank you. And some are standing already in the back. I don't know the full quote, but it does take a village. It takes a family. And thank you for supporting these individuals. And speaking of family, while we have incredible business partners all across the college, this particular program couldn't have happened without our business partners and a family-owned business in industrial supply. Well, first of all, George Billings, our instructor, he's been a wonderful leader at this institution for many years. He came back to us as an adjunct instructor. He's part of our family, and thank you for taking this group. And I knew you'd be tough on him. That's one of the reasons why we wanted you there. So thank you. And just as the president said, it's never too late to learn, and it's never too late to come back. One of the family members from Industrial Supply is the outside sales manager and happens to be a current student at Salt Lake Community College in entrepreneurship, Danny Evans. Danny, if you'll stand up. Thank you. So, and then the president of Industrial Supply. And before I introduce Randy Evans, I want to say thank you to part of his family, and that's Sean Newell. Sean Newell is just an integral cog at Industrial Supply, but he's also an integral cog in the community. And I'm not sure there's anyone in the community that Sean doesn't know. Just at a banquet yesterday, he walked someone over from about 10 tables over and said, "You need to meet this person." And that is just typical Sean. And when I asked Sean, as part of our collaboration, you know, George has given them some technology and the mental toughness and the mental tools, but they need some tools to take with them on the job site. And he said, "It's a done deal, just let us know what you need." And I can see, after talking with Randy just a few moments ago, where that philosophy and that family orientation begins. And for them, it begins at the top. Randy Evans from Industrial Supply.
I'll keep it short. My grandfather, Rudy Orlob, founded Industrial Supply back in 1916, 102 years ago. And we helped build this city. And now you can keep helping us build this city and improving it. We're excited to have you, and we're so proud of you. If you come shadow our door at Industrial Supply, we want to treat you like family because you are family of this city and this community. And we would just like to congratulate you and acknowledge you with this gift. Congratulations.
I'm to the last page. That's good news, right? Again, thank you to our community partners. And there's a couple of people who specifically have been really involved, who maybe their organization wasn't involved, but they were personally. And so I'd like to thank Matt Klein, who has dedicated a ton of time and stopped in on the classes and has just been a great advocate. Also, Dave DeRocher from the Other Side Academy, who couldn't be here today, came and spoke to the students one night and talked to them about the opportunity that they've been given and to take advantage of it. And ladies and gentlemen, you've taken advantage of it. It's been awesome to see you thrive, and I'm going to be watching to make sure you continue to do so. With that, thank you everyone for coming. Thank you again to all of our partners. Please stay for lunch. We have a wonderful lunch for you, and we will look forward to our next ceremony.